Dateline, Davis, California, and Arroyo Park. Decision Day in the Western Division of 2025 Minor League Cricket. The defending and future division champs from East Bay have already clinched their return to the Super 8s and another chance at the title that eluded them in 2024. But the other spot is still up for grabs, and by the end of this game coming up here from Davis, it will have been grabbed. The Seattle Thunderbolts, who finished their season with a 3-1 weekend against the Morrisville-bound Blazers and the Silicon Valley Strikers, will be the most interested of our viewers, as their playoff fate hangs in the balance today in Davis. The Silicon Valley Strikers, well, they can clinch a playoff berth with a win here against 2-6 San Diego. But if the Surf Riders can play spoiler, well, Seattle's superior net run rate would send them to Church Street Park. Joe Hickey with you live at Arroyo Park, alongside Vishal Tiku at the controls of a Crick Live production here on the MLC Network. And let's have a look at the team lists for this pivotal game as the field for our playoff groups coming up in the first week of October comes more and more and more into focus. We'll first take a look at the Silicon Valley Strikers. And they, understandably, after yesterday's dominant performance against the San Ramon Grizzlies, make no changes. Amok Adapalli will be the man with the gloves. Yuvraj Samra had a lovely day with bat in hand in that match, putting up 51 not out off 34 balls, his first half-century in minor league. Congratulations to him on that. Shehan Jayasuriya, he'll be looking to close in on that 2,000-run club that was just opened by Sujith Gowda in our early game. He sits at the moment let me find it. Where did I write it? Where are you? 157 runs. There it is, away from that total. Yesterday, didn't get out of first gear, picked off first ball by Ayan Desai. Dilpreet Singh Bajwa as well will reprise his role. And Dilpreet, for his part, 36 off 29 in his match the other day. A nice change-up from a bit of a slow start to his time in two-tone blue when he joined the team for the 2 games in Seattle and scored just 8. The captain, Raymond Reefer, a quick-fire 39 not out off 20. He all season has been striking in excess of a run and a half per ball. And, of course, the boom-boom of Gary Graham down the line, the pace of Nawaz Khan and Yusuf Zazai, and some really interesting spin options. Pranay Suri if you want the off-spin, Kamran Hotak if you'd like the lefty spin, Christopher Ramsaran if you'd like your lefty spin to be unpredictable and maybe go the other way. Lots of options in a team that is built potentially for that trip to Morrisville. They got to earn it here today. And it will indeed be Samra and Adapalli coming out to open the batting in just a moment. A look at your San Diego Surf Riders. 2 changes rather to their lineup from yesterday. Pranav Reddy is out, AB Reddy is in, so 0 net Reddy flux. And Abhi Singh is replaced by Rahim Mangal. Otherwise, it is as you were. Shehan Fernando, of course, the big bit of damage yesterday with his 41 off 33. Snell Patel alongside him, the 67 off 49, the league leader in 4s hit in this season. The Silicon Valley Strikers won the toss. They have elected to bat first in this one, and no surprise there that they might like to do such a thing, although it is the 5th toss they've won and only the 3rd time they've elected to bat first. But so far this season, the 2 times they have taken up the sticks first, they have hung big totals on SoCal teams. They'll look to do it again here as Supranch Kumar opens the bowling with a wide down the leg side. That's signaled by our umpire at that end. I believe that is Sundaram Subramanian with Sunil Singh on our side, but I could be wrong. We'll see if we can get that straightened out over the course of the first few overs here. But it is Supranch Kumar opening the bowling with that wide from the Sahadeo Pavilion end. That one worked off the face of the bat by Amok Adapalli. And Silicon Valley now underway with runs off the bat as well. Adapalli picked up 2 off the first delivery in yesterday's encounter and then was dismissed on the very next ball. 1 of 2 wickets taken by Ayan Desai in that first over that at least initially made it look like we might have a really bustling chase in that game. It did not come to pass. Strikers got home with more than 5.5 overs remaining and 7 wickets still in hand. behind those aforementioned performances from the likes of Samra, Dilpreet, and Raymond Reefer. Little better there from Supranch as he bowls a dot to the young Canadian opener Yuvraj Samra. Yuvraj, after going 2 off 11 in his opening weekend in Seattle, that 51 not out off 34, 5 fours and 2 sixers. A little more in line with what you saw of him back in June at the T20 World Cup Under-19 qualifiers. That one pops up on him, uppish for a moment. A dot delivery. .161 career strike rate in T20 eyes. I should say it's actually just the T20 World Cup qualifiers, not the under-19s. Samra's doing it big. Supranch, meanwhile, he and his teammate here with San Diego, Sabrish, former strikers, were involved in the under-19 World Cup qualifiers. The Canadian's going to take advantage of the American on this one and puts it over the top of Vijayaramnandula. Drawn in at mid-on. And we've got the first boundary of the day, and it's a 4 off the bat of Yuvraj Samra, looking to pick up where he left off. A little bit fuller than a length. That ball winds up rolling in the direction of the pavilions. That one just about cuts Yuvraj in half. Nice comeback delivery from the 4. In on the hands. So far, really only 2 mistakes out of the hands of the young man Supranch. 25 runs conceded in 3 overs yesterday. None of the San Diego bowlers took wickets. The only wicket that fell came off the foot of Vijayaramnandula as he ran out the batter at the other end on a ball scalded by Gowda. That one skews off the edge of the bat. Could be a chance for the deep man, running in and getting the fingers under it. And so after a day where nobody managed to strike with ball in hand, San Diego have got one down here on the last delivery of over number 1. And it's yesterday's half-centurion Yuvraj Samra, dismissed on a ball to a very wide-ish deep third man. That a very nice length, maybe just a little bit of seam movement to catch the outside edge of the bat. And a dismissal that almost looks like the mirror edge of Rahul Jariwala earlier this morning. Looking to hit it to the covers, and instead it skews to third man and is squeezed by the man in the deep. So with that, it'll be Shahan Jayasuriya coming out in a moment. At 3, he'll be at the non-striker's end when we come back for over number 2, Silicon Valley 6 for 1. Javed Zadran will be entrusted with over number 2. First over of the match from the Usman Khan end. Dueling right-handed pace from either side of the wicket. A catch earlier squeezed by the lefty spinner that we'll eventually see, Kunj Bhagat, in order to dismiss Yuvraj Samra for quite a bit less damage than yesterday. Just 4 off 5, the one tasty shot, and then gone 2 balls later. Zadran pulls out of the run-up with Jayasuriya lurking at his end. Amog Adapalli, so far just 1 off 1. He also saw that leg side wide go by. Yesterday, barely even got a chance to introduce Amog. The viral clip on MLC showed me in the middle of my introductions as he was sawed in half and dismissed clean bowled by Ayan Desai. This time, navigates the first delivery from Zadran. Dropped into the area behind square and a single to start the over for him. That'll bring Jayasuriya on strike, who I didn't even say the name of before he was gone. I was too busy telling you about the righty-lefty split for Ayan Desai. But of course, Jayasuriya, a revered veteran in this league, and alongside Gary Graham and Saurabh Netravalkar, who's currently away on duty in the Caribbean. Be sure to tune in tomorrow at 5 p.m. on Willow and watch Saurabh in action with TKR in the CPL final. But along with those guys in Pranay Suri, the old guard of this Silicon Valley Strikers team. Looking for a return to Morrisville, and Shehan Jayasuriya a return to boundaries. Very first ball he faces. Hit to backward square for a 4. Zadran just a little too far in on the pads. An easy flick away for somebody of Jayasuriya's quality, if the ball isn't playing tricks on you. Jayasuriya in between our games in week 2 and 3, turning 34 years old. Happy birthday to him as he runs this one to the right side. Attempted run out, and the overthrow is going to allow a second run to come across. The throw is down to Zadran's end, and he knocks it down there. For the briefest moments, looked like it might end up being overthrows all the way to the boundary, but just 2 as it works out. Jayasuriya and I very nearly share a birthday. In fact, with the international date line involved and so forth, probably even closer than it looks, but he turned 34 on the 12th. 2 days later, I turned 44. Happy birthday to you. Barely got to see you in between. That one's off the pad, but well down the leg side. Even as the umpire signals the leg by, no concern at all of an appeal or anything like that necessary. Solid second over here with the bat in hand thus far for the Silicon Valley Strikers. We saw earlier today power plays getting hamstrung by the early wickets. That's a full toss, and that is dispatched in the direction of the deep fielder. It might stay in play, and it's a second wicket down. Off the bat with the sound involved, looked like that was going to be a 6 for sure, but it picks out deep mid-wicket. And that is all she wrote for Amogadapalli. He's going to go with 2 off 3. Rough weekend for Silicon Valley's leading run scorer, and this time around just doesn't quite get enough of a juicy full toss right at knee height. And with that, Strikers in a must-win game. This isn't quite like it was for the Blazers earlier, where they could clinch the berth with a win, but might find themselves in anyway, just on the virtue of their net run rate. Silicon Valley don't have a choice here. They win, they're in. They lose, Seattle's in. And right now, a pair of wickets that feel really good up in the Pacific Northwest. Second wicket squeezed by Sabrish Prasad in the deep. And so far, all credit to Skandar Rohit Sharma as well. He has placed his fielders in the right spots. And even when his bowlers have failed to bowl to the plan and have thrown up a full toss, they've picked him out. Dilpreet Singh Bajwa on now at 4. Tempted by that first delivery that he sees from Javed, but that will end the over. And I was saying a moment earlier, a nice solid over with the bat for Silicon Valley. Well, it collapses down the stretch there. A wicket on delivery number 5. And with that, Strikers 14 for the loss of 2. 2 overs gone and 2 batters already back in the shed. Amog, who did the damage, was 73 the last time these teams met. Samraj, yesterday's half-centurion, and Jayasuriya dangerously close to chopping on again like he did yesterday off Desai. Supranj Kumar continues from the Sahadeo Pavilion end. Steaming in over the wicket with the right arm pace. Back of a length on that one and knocked down off of his pads by Jayasuriya. Zadran and Kumar both struck in that match back on Labor Day between these two teams. Brief hint of a run-out chance there as Jayasuriya takes the quick single. In fact, in that match, Shehan Jayasuriya went out to Javed Zadran, the guy who's been bowling from the Usman Khan end so far. Supranch got Gary Graham, so he'll have to wait his turn for that. Usually takes a few wickets down before you see Gary out here. They like to save him for the boom-boom down at the end. There was quite a bit of boom-boom from Silicon Valley when these two teams met on Labor Day, though. Dilpreet Singh Bajwa gets himself off the mark, tapping one to point. In that match, Adepalli had 73. Raymond Reefer had a 61 at nearly a 300 strike rate. 5 sixes and 4 fours. And Shehan added 28 off 19, along with Tarun Adada's 34 off 23. Highest score we've seen in the West this season coming in that match, 217 for 4. And the crazy thing is, San Diego for a little while looked like they might actually chase it down. Ended up losing by 28 runs. Jayasuriya steps forward and drills this one to mid-wicket, manages to get himself to the pitch and keep it forward enough of the man at square leg to reach the boundary on the fly. First maximum of the innings off the bat of number 31 in blue. Sees the shorter length and throws the pull even as he's stepping forward. That's just something to behold. As we mentioned at start of play, Shehan Jayasuriya 157 runs shy of 2,000. Could find his way towards that milestone as we have a little bit of a search on for the ball that Shehan just hit. And we'll take that opportunity to take you a little more around the league and around the playoff picture. In the time since our first game ended, we did get a final out of the Baltimore Royals and Atlanta Fire match, and it was Jamar Hamilton with the last few big hits, a 4, a 6, and a 4 in the 20th over when Atlanta needed 12 to win to keep the Fire undefeated at 7-0 and deliver the first loss of the season to the now 7-1-1 Baltimore Royals. And so, as it presently stands, tomorrow's winner will have a playoff spot booked, because it'll either be Atlanta going to 8 wins and the Royals having 2 losses and a no result, or it'll be Baltimore winning and going to 8 wins with the no result, and nobody else can catch that except for the Fire themselves. The Atlanta Lightning will be capped at 8-2. So winner tomorrow, definitely on their way to the Super 8s. The loser will have to wait for those games taking place in Rydal next week, Friday and Saturday, between the Fire and the Lightning. Except in one case, which is if the Atlanta Fire and the Morrisville Raptors both win tomorrow. If the Raptors knock off the Lightning, that would get it done. In that case, the Lightning would fall too far behind to catch Baltimore, and Atlanta would be even better than that, the Fire. And so that would actually mean that the Fire and the Royals both clinch. Those games getting started within 15 minutes of each other at about 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. So get up early with your coffee. I'll be paying attention to that alongside my European soccer. South still up for grabs at this point. Neither spot clinched. In the West, the Blazers are in, and by the end of play today, either the Strikers or Thunderbolts will be. In the East, it's the Stallions and the Somerset Cavaliers. In the Central, it's the Kingsmen. Leg side wide, second of those we've seen from Supranj Kumar as we get back underway. The only other thing left to settle in the Central Division is who's going to be in the 2 versus 3 game. The winner of Kings 11 Dallas versus Dallas Exphoria Giants tonight, starting in about 40 minutes, they will definitely be one of the 2 teams, and the other one might go if the Metroplex Tracers lose, and depending potentially on net run rate if that losing team is Kings 11 Dallas. That one taps straight back to Supranch. He'll knock that down. But if the Metroplex Tracers win tomorrow's morning game against Lone Star Athletics and complete the sweep over the weekend, it'll be them versus tonight's winner in the 2 versus 3 to join the Kingsmen, the Blazers, the Stallions, the Cavaliers, either the Strikers or the Thunderbolts, and 2 of Baltimore, Atlanta, and other Atlanta. It's coming into focus. Last delivery of the over, Jayasuriya left the bat dangling out there, but does not have the edge picked up. And so a pair of dots to finish the over after the wide and the 6. It'll be 8 runs from the frame as we take a look at the temptation of Jayasuriya. And we can see clearly there, as they like to say on DRS, clear gap between bat and ball. Ready for ball tracking. No, we don't need any ball tracking. We don't have it anyway. Silicon Valley, 23 for 2 through 3. From one ex-striker youth player that did not get a game with Silicon Valley over the course of the last 2 seasons and is now plying his trade in San Diego, to the other one that is doing exactly that and has that description. We go from Supranch Kumar to Sabarish Prasad, the 2 of them big factors as well in those under-19 World Cup qualifiers in that America's group just about a month or so ago. That one's popped up, and it's going to fall just in front of third man. I think that's Vijayaram Nandula out there. There are 2 players with no name or number, actually 3 of them now, with no name or a number on the back of their jerseys. Love that for me. But there was one of them. I think it was Vijaya. Tap to that same third man fielder. A dot and a single to start this over for Sabarish Prasad. 22 off of his 2 overs yesterday, but he's taken 6 wickets this season. Came into the week with an average of 24.8 and an economy just under 6.5 runs and over, and has been particularly effective against left-handed batters, although I hesitate to say that with Jayasuriya up here because I'm having a flashback and feel like I said something like that yesterday, and then he got destroyed by a left-handed batter. Might have been Bandara. Generally speaking, Offie's pretty good against lefties. Let's see what he's got against Jayasuriya around the wicket. Something definitely there in the surface for him, as that has some extravagant turn. That one's off the edge, just over the top of Zadran. And he won't be able to follow that one fast enough up the hill. It's a 4 for Jayasuriya, but a streaky one at that. Off the bat, definite concerns. Not in control at all, toe-ended and edged. But it just shows you the power he has and the vein of form he's been in. 219 runs on the season coming in. Very consistent in particular. Has posted a 31, a 28, a 27, a 29, a 56, and a 39 this year. Swung on and missed. Did the foot come up? Appears not. Umpire not running in to take the ball, but merely to resituate the furniture. Jayasuriya stepping a little bit forward, mostly was stepping off to the side. For sure misses that ball, so not a caught behind opportunity. And looks like that tip of the foot stays grounded the whole time, even as Snell Patel, who's tied for second for wicketkeeper catches in MILC, tries for the stumping. Opens the face of the bat and hits this straight to the long off-fielder, Shehan Fernando. And that'll be a single to finish off an eventful over, a 4 that might have been a wicket, a dot that might have been a wicket. Both of them fall safely or stay safe either way. 6 from it, Silicon Valley 29 for 2 through 4. It'll be Singh Bajwa rather, on strike. As over number 5 gets underway, and it does appear it's going to be Javed Zadran changing ends. So hence the change of Sabrif Prasad bowling from the Usman Khan end. Zadran's first from this end. A little bit of everything. 8 runs, a leg by. Half of those runs coming off a 4. But then that wicket falling as Amog Arapali tried to take a full toss and deposit it over mid-wicket. This one will be hit straight back through the box. Attempted run out straight through the legs of Jayasuriya. Single off the first. Jayasuriya here with the highest average he's had in minor league since that 2022 season. Certainly you start mentioning 2022 and the Seattle Thunderbolts that we know are watching will start smiling. Lovely ball there. Good length, good height. It comes up on Bajwa, cramps him for style and for space. Zadran has been challenging over the course here of his spell. It's kind of an odd thing that the worst ball he bowled is the one that got him the wicket. The full toss that was hit straight down the throat of mid-wicket, about 3 feet in front of the boundary. Bajwa is going to open the face of the bat and just does beat the fielder in the circle. Deep sweeper cover over to it, though. Just a single. Deep protection against Jayasuriya is at a backward point position, something kind of splitting backward point and third man. And then at deep mid-wicket. And that mid-wicket fielder is not changing position when Dilpreet Singh is out there. He's basically staying there. And, of course, with the righty, that becomes sweeper cover. Deep man moves a little square of the wicket on the offside now. Trying to jam it in on the legs is Javed Zadran. Drifts a little too far, and that'll be a wide. A lot of extras in the first innings of our morning game. Admittedly, half of those were leg bys, but also 7 wides and a no ball. So far, 3 of them through 4.5 overs. First one to Zadran, 2 of them against Supranj Kumar. That one shot straight back through, and it hits the foot of Javed Zadran on the way. That'll slow it up and kick it in the direction of mid-on. Single on offer as it rolled. Probably the only regret I have from this weekend so far, as there's been some phenomenal cricket, is I really wanted to get a spreadsheet involved at some point. Do some net run rate calculations. It looks like we won't need them. Dilpreet Singh will run this one in the direction of the man in the deep. Bit of a misfield there, and it will allow them time to run a second. Dilpreet rocking out the stylish gold lid. As a commentator, always an appreciated thing when a player is wearing something that distinctive. Coming a little further inside on Dilpreet, and he runs that one backwards of square for a single. So productive over all told. They take 7 off of it, the wide, 4 singles and a 2. Silicon Valley, 6 balls left in the power play, 36 for 2. Dilpreet will retain the strike, and Sabrish Prasad will retain the ball from this Usman Khan end. It's going to be 2 overs apiece of Supranch, Sabrish, and Javed here in the power play. And Prasad, first delivery, decent bit of purchase, comes bending back in. Little hesitation on taking the run. Jayasuriya might have been in trouble with a direct hit. Definitely was a little bit of a hesitation, maybe we will, maybe we won't sort of thing. I will say one of the underrated things about this season, just in terms of it looking like proper minor league cricket to me. That one in on the pads, worked around the corner, long run. And a quickly moving ball. It is held in play, I believe. And it'll be a pair of leg byes. One of the things that makes it look right here is you've got Silicon Valley back into this two-tone blue with the stripe on the left side. That one straight through the hands of the keeper. A real opportunity, and it's got too much juice, and will roll all the way up the hill for a 4. Another streaky boundary here from Jayasuriya. I should have said not the keeper, but through the hands of the slip. Captain Skanda Rohit Sharma, an opportunity there to wrap his mitts around a 3rd dismissal in the power play, and the big fish, Shehan Jayasuriya, into the 20s yet again. Goes for the reverse scoop, and Snell Patel can't find it. Shehan has been a little out of control on some of these. Plonks that foot down. Might not have been a dismissal. I think that actually got him in the forearm. Oh, and it's not that Snell couldn't find it. It's that he couldn't get around Shehan. All told, don't think that it actually matters in the end. I don't think it got glove. This one run back again towards that slip. Knocked down this time by Skanda. That ball from Sabrish will be a quick single as it's picked up by the mid-on fielder. So 8 runs from the over, 6 of them off the bat against Sabrish Prasad. 2/3 of what he's conceded so far has come on a pair of 4s, and they have been the streakiest of 4s. Edges and near chances, but the power play comes to a close that way. Silicon Valley 44 for 2 as the fielding restrictions release. First over outside the power play is going to be handed to Abhinay Reddivanipalli, the 34-year-old righty pacer. 8 wickets on the season at a little under 24 runs per. The economy a bit inflated at 9.61, but he's been best here in the middle. 8.33 the economy, although if you're coming to the park to see the San Diego Surf Riders, no shade meant at his bowling, but that's not the part of his game you're here to see. Coming around the wicket to Shehan. Gets the gloves. Worked away for a single. Not a bad start, though. Certainly cramping the big man. But AB, year in, year out, one of the top fielders in this league. You've got your Deron Davises, you've got your Ali Sheikhs. I throw in my my vouch for this guy. Still remember a pair of games in Canyonside a couple of years ago. So that one's worked to the offside for a single. Dilpreet and Shehan trying to keep the ticker turning. Partnership is up to 32 runs. But AB took a couple of blinders in a pair of games that the Surf Riders took from Seattle Thunderbolts that year. More or less the reason why the then Golden State Grizzlies made the playoffs was because of his handiwork. So far, keeping it tight, making the strikers work for these singles. I think back to one of the catches he had out on the boundary rope, running back and to his left. Took a leaping snag and managed to land and keep himself inside the boundary rope, and later on had a one-handed backpedaler. Very good-looking line and length from him on that one. The fielding restrictions released, of course, deep men all over. The only one behind square would appear to be a backward square leg at the moment for Dilpreet. Otherwise, mid-wicket, long on, long off, and sweeper cover. 3 inside the circle on the offside. Just fine leg on the onside. This will be tipped toward that offside, but so soft that it is an easy single taken. Saw a decent bit of that field setting against the likes of Aaron Johnson, other powerful righty batters, during the course of the first weekend that San Diego came up here to visit. And it'll be just about as dramatic here to Shehan as well. 3 on the offside. Backward point, third, and cover. Thinks about the single. The throw is not well backed up, and that is the problem with having so few men on the onside. Just Siddharth Menon at square leg. The throw coming from backward point toward mid-wicket. Ends up in the outfield and winds up being a single to finish off the over. 5 runs from it, all courtesy of singles. Silicon Valley 49 for 2, going at exactly 7s through 7. Sabrif Prasad will continue on from the Usman Khan end, his third over on the trot. So far going at a run a ball. 8 of those coming on a pair of streaky 4s, so he's bowled even better than that would indicate. Again, looking for the creative shot is Jayasuriya. Works that to third man with the reverse sweep, but not fine enough to beat him. That brings up the 50 for Silicon Valley here in the 8th over. That'll put Dilpreet Singh Bajwa back on strike. Looking at his stats from 2023 when he played with Seattle, I'd be thinking about some Kunj Bhagat against him before he gets a chance to get going. That one drifts down the leg side, and Bajwa helps it on its way. Nice looking 4 there to a fine leg. Prasad has, generally speaking, been holding it pretty tight. That one, admittedly, the turn makes that delivery worse than it might have looked out of the hand. Sort of like when you talk to a baseball pitcher about a curveball that starts exactly where you want it and then bends its way into the center of the plate. This one kind of the opposite. Started on a decent line and then turned so far that it winds up back behind Bajwa's shoulder. Tighter there and a better length. Sharp chance over at the wicket-keeper's end. Nothing doing there. Another quick single taken. Dilpreet, in fact, nearly mirror image stats against off-spin versus lefty spin in 2023 with the Thunderbolts. Faced 21 balls of off-spin and hit it for 39 runs. Faced 39 balls of lefty spin, picked up 24 runs and was dismissed 5 times. So I'm not saying, I'm just saying. Kunj. Ball pushed over to the right side. Abhinay Reddy up with it, but they will take the single. You run on AB at your own risk. A lot of options available for the bowling attack, although the one thing that, with the changes made to the team that is not available today for Skanda to deploy is any leggies. No Kairav Sharma, no Pranav Reddy, no Abhi Singh. That one lifted towards mid-wicket. More cow corner. Shahan Fernando over from long on. He'll pick that up, another single. Just a 1-dot delivery so far out of the 11 since the power play ended. 1 boundary, and then singles on every other ball so far. Few small fielding changes as sweeper cover gets very wide to Shahan. This will be dropped straight into the breadbasket of the captain and slip Skanda on a hop. So there's a second dot in the 12 balls since the power play ended. 8 overs gone. Silicon Valley continuing to go at roughly 7s, 57 for 2. AB continues from the Sahadeo Pavilion end. He will face off with Dilpreet, going at about exactly a run a ball as it works out. 15 off 15 here as he tries to accelerate from his slow start. This one in the air and too long for long on. There's your acceleration into the trees and a 6 off the first ball of over number 9. bit of width on offer, but rather than feast on that and take it the other way, take it to the offside, Bajwa gets to that one, full face of the bat right through the line of it, and whack. More delicate shot backwards of point. Fernando up with it quick. A little bit of a restricted team for them today. Just 3 bowler types, if you classify them by the kind of 5 standard ones, as this one cramps Jayasuriya, but plays it late, works it back to third for a single. But on the bowling side, just righty pace, off spin, and the one leggy. Vijaya Ramnandula and Shehan Fernando available. With the off spin, Reddy, Supranch, and Zadran all righty pacers, and then Kunj Bhagat, the lefty spinner. Those are really the only options. And if you look at the batting lineup, it's a little crazier than all that in terms of your top and middle order, exclusively righty bats. Off-pace Yorker to DP. Chance again to try to throw down the stumps, and again the overthrow is going to allow the single. Throw comes down to Snell Patel's end. Memory serves, that is at least the 3rd run that Silicon Valley have taken so far today on an overthrow. Just a little overzealous now and again on half chances in the field. And just not moving well enough out there to ensure that those attempts at the stumps are well backed up. That is a hard slap in the direction of mid-wicket. Deep protection out there will hold it to a single. Nine overs into this, Silicon Valley have had a boundary in 7 of the 9 overs. Yet to have an over with multiple boundaries, but they've just kind of kept things ticking along at a nice pace. Only Javed Zadran's second over and AB's first did not feature a boundary at some point. That one bamboozling Dilpreet Singh Bajwa. Little change of pace on it. That'll be a dot to finish off the over, but with the maximum off the first ball, it's 10 off of over number 9 as we take a look at a little bit of an off cutter. I think we saw just a little bit of a nip back in towards Bajwa. Misses the bat, though. That ends the over 67 for 2 through 9. And there is the evidence. I wouldn't lie to you. Very consistent performance so far here for Silicon Valley. Most overs somewhere in that 6 to 10 run range. And as a result, a very consistent run rate, hovering right in that 7.5 range, 67 from the first 9. We will get our first look at Kunj Bhagat here in the final over before drinks. Lefty spin over the wicket. First one turns back just a little bit. Jayasuriya lets it go. That is slammed by Jayasuriya, and it is the risk of the lefty spinner. You like him for Dilpreet Singh Bajwa if you can hold him on strike, but generally speaking, you don't love it against left-handed batters, and I've seen my share of games in which the likes of a Vatsal Vagela or a Rubal Raina or a Sanjay Krishnamurthy are held out of the attack while somebody like Jayasuriya is out there. Swing and a miss as we're back to live action. Jayasuriya, though, has that ball get away from the keeper. Throw is down to Kunj Bhagat's end as they look to take the bye. And so now Kunj will get his shot at DP Singh Bajwa. Look to hold him on strike as Jayasuriya is the you would say the deterrent to deploying him. This is who you want to bowl at. Ball tapped to the man on the infield. Held nicely for a dot. Next delivery on the ground to the man at cover. A single there, and the final ball before drinks will belong to Shehan Jayasuriya. Buggett going round the wicket to Bajwa, prefers over the wicket. Looking for the angle in and perhaps the nip back into the pads. Jayasuriya gets down on one knee, ropes this one into the gap between mid-wicket and square leg. And that is going to be a 4 on this final delivery here, and the biggest tower on the Manhattan now. We saw it before, it was 10. It is now these 13 runs, 12 of them off the bat against Kunj Bhagat. We see the limitations of the analytics on display here. You can't look at just one batter. You do have to look at the pair of them, and too many deliveries there faced by Jayasuriya, and he makes them pay. Silicon Valley pushed the run rate up towards 8s as they reach the halfway point at 79 for 2. Time for a drink. Ten overs down, 10 to go here in our first innings of game number 2 here at Arroyo Park in Davis, California. My name is Joe Hickey. I'm joined by Stanley on the camera work and Vishal Tiku on the controls here for a quick live production on the MLC network. Just 2 more matches left in Western Division action, and this one legitimately the only one that still has stakes. Tomorrow is still going to be a lovely day out at the park, enjoying some high-level cricket. It's just not going to have any firm results attached to it. This one most certainly does as we reach the quarter pole. Silicon Valley Strikers at 79 for 2 must win today to make it to the Super 8s and continue their season past this afternoon. If they fail to do so, it'll be the men from the Northwest, the men in pink, that will benefit. The Seattle Thunderbolts will join the East Bay Blazers in Morrisville instead. That one has gotten pad out of the hand of the new bowler, Vijayaram Nandula. Also a brief hint of a chance at a run out. But the underhand toss doesn't make it to the stumps, and no interest from the umpire at that end, Sunil Singh. Or excuse me, correction, Abhishek Singh is our umpire at that end. Sundaram Subramanian currently at square leg. That brings Jayasuriya on strike after the leg by. Jayasuriya against the offie taps that one backwards of point. A single there. Good cricket all the way around. Not a bad delivery. A nice adjustment to it by Jayasuriya. And good quick work to chase it down and hold Silicon Valley to just the one. For comparison, in their first meeting of the season, Silicon Valley, roughly a similar start. They were 86 for 1 at the halfway point. But boy, oh boy, did they pick up the pace in the second half. Just 3 of the final 6 overs went for single-digit runs. That one's a little wide and probably fuller than was intended by Vijayaram. That'll be a wide, and he'll have to re-bowl it. The real killer was an over for Raymond Reefer against Supranj Kumar that went for 25. 3 sixes in that one, then a single, then his partner hit a 6. And then his partner got dismissed. Again, quick work in the field. Mid-wicket screaming in. Nandula yesterday took the only wicket of the encounter, although it won't go down in his bowling column, where he's got 2 wickets in thus far 7 overs on the season. That one worked off the pads as Bajwa stepped towards it, flipped over into that vacant area at square leg for a single. That wicket was taken, though, when Sujith Gowda fired one straight back at the bowler, Vijayaram Nandula, and he reached out a foot, got the instep to it, and kicked it right onto the stumps with Kavan Bandara standing and wondering what the heck just happened. That was the only wicket that the Blazers lost in yesterday's toss. Chase, I mean to say. Jayasuriya forward. That one eats up the fielder out there, Supranj Kumar, and they are going to take a run off the misfield, and that is just a lack of concentration at that moment. I know that there might be a few spots that are a little rough, but you've at least got to keep it in front of you in that moment. And so it will be 2 on the misfield. Let's see if we can spot the demon. It doesn't look like it really had a chance to eat him up particularly. Maybe just enough to get over the hands, but better body position. Maybe that one stays in front of you. Either way, 8 from the over, 7 of them, or I should say 6 of them, rather. Last try worked out. 6 of them off the bat, a wide and a leg by. Silicon Valley 87 for 2. San Diego going double barrel on off spin after the drinks break. It'll be Shehan Fernando, though, in the effort of saving one more over of Sabrish Prasad for perhaps a bit later. Maybe a specific batter they'd like to target, maybe a Raymond Reefer. That one's definitely gotten pad, but it is it sounded like it got pad. Signaled as a wide. I'm not sure what I heard. Let's see if we can get a good look. Oh, okay. It did get a pad, just not Dilpreet Singh's. I was unsighted. I think Fernando was right in front of me from my position. Oof. Delightful turn off that one. Spins away from the lefty Jayasuriya. That is what you bring Fernando on for. Flattens that one out, little shorter, and it's shot backwards of point. Long run, and Supranch can't get to that one and keep it in front. Did the hard work with the legs, but not able to keep it there, and you see the bit of a drag down. That sits up nicely for Jayasuriya to swing through. Some frustration starting to show, but you can hear the captain and other members of the team in the field, Siddharth Menon, who I always know the position of because of that awesome aquamarine sun hat. Calling out, let's get our heads in the game. It's been a little bit of a drift in concentration the last couple of overs. A little more flight. This one driven straight back towards the sight screen and past it on a hop, and goodbye. That's headed towards Imperial Avenue. That is going to require some fetching. By the way, my sincere apologies. I was so taken by the misfield earlier that I did not notice the 50 brought up for Shehan Jayasuriya, his 13th time past the 50 mark here in minor league cricket. 2 centuries to his name as well. Remarkably, those came in back-to-back games. An unbeaten 112 and an unbeaten 115 at a time when he was making this sport look insanely easy. But that to go along with what is officially shown as 11 50s, but his 13th time past that barrier in this league. That one worked to mid-wicket, and we hear the call immediately to try and take 2. And he will do so, and that will actually move him to 1,900 career runs, putting him just another century worth away from joining Sujith Gowda in that 2000 club. Through the gap in the covers, a single, and that'll bring up the 100 for Silicon Valley Strikers, of which Shehan Jayasuriya now has 58% off 39 balls. One more left here in this 12th over. Fernando will come round the wicket. Okay, I see what it was when I thought Bajwa might have gotten squared up LBW and it was actually off Snell. That one does stay within the tram lines. It's Jayasuriya who's blocking my view from here. So we go to the screen and we see that one into the gloves of Snell Patel. 13 runs from it. Some useful turn, but some beautiful hitting from Shehan Jayasuriya. He brings up the 50. Silicon Valley bring up the 100 for 2 after 12. First delivery of over number 13 from Vijayaram is going to be an appeal for leg before, nothing given. Ball is underhanded onto the stumps, but it looks like Bajwa was back in plenty of time. After all of that, I believe it'll go down as a leg by as we take a look. Not the best angle to see if there was an inside edge, just like I was unsighted from my end before. Got the non-striker in the way of our camera as well. Vijayaram getting a chance to play most of his games in comfortable surroundings this season, as he's been up here in Northern California for 8 of the 10 matches that San Diego have played. He's actually an NCCA player up here, NorCal Cricket Association, and so far this year, #1 player by rankings points. Useful bowler and one heck of a batter. Looking for a wicket here, but that is going to take the edge of Dilpreet Singh Bajwa and run away fine of the man inside the circle at third. Silicon Valley continue to tick over the scoreboard. Throughout the duration, it's been a matter of rotating the strike ably and then finding those boundaries once or twice and over. And it has been just relentless since those 2 early wickets. Those both fell back in the first and second over, as this one's tapped back to Vijayaram. He wants another run out. No dice. This one tapped to the offside for a single. In NCCA action, Vijayaram currently ranking 3rd in average. And #1 and 2 just have 1 wicket taken. He's got 8 for 34 in 8 overs of work at the start of this season of minor league. #4 in strike rate, #5 in economy. Here in minor league, his economy's been a little bit rougher, 8.34 on the season. Coming into play and went for a little over 7s yesterday. Right now, going at about 7s. That 4 from Bajwa on the prior ball that Dilpreet faced, the first boundary he's conceded in this match. Bajwa looking for the same. This time it's a little wider and Siddharth Menon gets to it. So a single from it. 15 so far off of Nandola's 2. Silicon Valley strikers through 13, 108 for the loss of 2. They have not lost a wicket since the penultimate ball of the second over. This partnership lasting half the innings and getting now to 96 runs. I misspoke earlier, 94 runs in a little more than 11 overs together. These two have stabilized an innings that at least 2 overs in looked like it might be a little wobbly. Both openers were already in the shed for a combined 6 runs. Silicon Valley were sitting at 14 for 2. They now sit 6 runs shy of a century partnership. They'll get one here as that ball falls in front of fine leg fielder. The parade of off-spin continues, but it is now Sabrish Prasad from the Usman Khan end, about to bowl his final over of the encounter. In his first 3, he'd conceded his jersey number, the 20. 1-4 in each over. Stepping forward is Jayasuriya. Doesn't fully get to the pitch of it and time it. Will be easy enough pickings for Shahan Fernando in the deep. That one shot on the ground. That'll be a dot delivery, and that is notable for just how few of them there have been in this innings. In 81 deliveries, that is the 27th dot, just 33% of them. That one's off the pad, and it's given straight away by Sundaram Subramanian. And the partnership is broken, 4 runs shy of the century mark. Dilpreet Singh taken out by the offie. And Sabrish Prasad, who's put as much pressure on these batters as anybody has so far today, has his man. I don't think there can be too much doubt about that. Goes down for the sweep. Certainly no bat. And into the middle of his thigh pad on the back leg. 3 reds beyond doubt, but Dilpreet Singh Bajwa departs with 33 off 32 rather. Ably supporting the 61 off 42 from Jayasuriya in a partnership that goes for 96 runs. And lasts 1 ball shy of 12 overs. And of course, if you think to yourself, all right, we've done something, now we can start really making inroads in this game, bad news for you. The man striding out to the crease hit you for 61 off 21 3 weeks ago. This is still going to be tough. Raymond Reefer striding to the crease. The prodigal captain who played for this team in 2022, the last time they made a trip to Morrisville. Not the last time they've been in the playoffs, but the last time that those playoffs were in Morrisville was 2022. Trying to make sure that he and his team, not the one that knocked them off in the Pacific Conference Final, the Seattle Thunderbolts, makes that trip this year. Of course, both those sides will have happy memories of Morrisville, North Carolina. Silicon Valley won the inaugural minor league championship in 2021 at Church Street Park. Seattle followed that up by knocking off the Atlanta Fire in the 2022 final. Reefer gets underway on the second delivery he faces. Quite the tight over from Sabrish Prasad. He ends his spell with figures of 1 for 23 and does finally break that 96-run partnership. Silicon Valley, Nelson for 3 through 14. Captain retains the strike as we've got a pair of lefties at the center, Reefer and Jayasuriya. To face off with Vijayana Ram Nandula. No reason to veer clear of the off spin now. If you were doing it when you had a lefty-righty, you're certainly doing it with 2 lefties, but navigated nicely by Raymond Reefer on the very first ball of the over. A 4-run down wide of third man. You see the little cut, the chop down on that one to let the face of the bat roll it down to the offside. Seven off Nandula's first, 8 off his second, 4 so far on the first ball of his third over. Reefer hits this one square the wicket to point. And a single on offer there. Shehan Jayasuriya back on strike. For Shehan here in the potential clincher, his high score of this season. That coming on the heels of his low score of the season. He had only been out in single figures once before yesterday's Golden Duck. But maybe the most consistent year start to finish that we've seen out of the big man from Colombo. Oh, the invention. The little reverse paddle. I'm going to call that the pinball paddle right there from Shehan as he lost that one over his own head. Got into position for it very early. Yeah, that just looks like something you do at the arcade, except much bigger. If that already has a name in cricket circles, I don't care to know it. I like mine. I hope our mics on the field caught that. Shahan hits that one straight on a couple of hops to the man at cow corner. But boy, did he want that one. Just threw his head back and cried out. I couldn't do anything but laugh. Feels like he missed out on a juicy toss. Next delivery is going to be an opportunity for the run out. Nandula does not remove the bails. This might be the one right here, the full toss. And you're very rarely at a loss for what Shahan might be thinking at any given moment. He'll let you know. That is probably more what he was expecting out of the full toss as he guides that wide of the man in the circle and the one in the deep. Splits that gap perfectly. It's 2 fours for him in the over after the delicate one from Reefer. All power and invention from Shahan. And that one a pricey over. 15 from it, courtesy of the 3 fours. Silicon Valley 126 for 3 as we hit the death overs. After 6 consecutive overs of spin on either side of the drinks break, 1 of lefty spin from Kunj Bhagat, and then 5 on the trot of different offies, it's now back to pace Supranj Kumar from the Usman Khan end. That first delivery to Reefer is going to be run down to backward point. Jayasuriya wanted the strike, but he is sent back by his captain, and it's a dot to start. Mentioned before, Jayasuriya's only 2 centuries in minor league cricket date back to 2022 in back-to-back games. He will get the strike as Reefer finds an empty patch of grass. Shahan might be thinking about stalking a third here. San Diego just trying to find the secret of getting rid of him. One of the first handful of matches I attended back in 2022 as a new cricket fan involved these 2 teams, and as that one is going to go past Javed Zadran, drawn in the circle at third. A 4 for Jayasuriya, and he continues to keep the odometer clicking. Not the most in-control shot from Jayasuriya, but when he's on, they tend to find gaps. That game, a very similar one to the first game of this year where Silicon Valley put on a monster total. This one's going to be run to fine leg, and they'll take a single. Shahan to 75 now off 47 balls. In that one, if I recall correctly, it was Shahan and Unmukh Chand putting on a partnership for well over 100 runs. Might well have been the high water mark that season, if not for a second wicket partnership, perhaps for a partnership even in general. And in that game, a bit of action from the San Diego tail made it a lot closer than it seemed like it should have been. That's more or less what happened in the first meeting between these 2 this year. Reefer is targeting our equipment. That ball is over the top of the sight screen. And luckily for us and our expensive stuff had just enough curl to not force me into a defensive role. 12 off the over. And this is going to look altogether too familiar to San Diego Surf Riders faithful. Reefer had 5 of those in the matchup at the Strikers Cricket Ground 3 weeks ago. And now he goes delicate and just gets enough of that to guide it around Snell Patel. Just playing with people's emotions at this point there. 3 more boundaries off that over. The big 6, and now the delicate 4. It's like an elephant's trunk. Can smash an oil drum or pick up a feather. Absolutely beautiful stuff here. Silicon Valley Strikers continue to motor along 142 for 3 through 16. Save for those 2 overs by Vijayaram right after the drinks break, and the one economical one where Dilpreet Singh Bajwa's wicket fell from Sabarish Prasad. Otherwise, since the 7th over, it has been every over having more runs than the one that preceded it. Rough way to go here. It's going to be A.B. Reddy back into the attack from the Sahadeo Pavilion end. And that one is airborne and could be the end of Jayasuriya. A long run, and it's going to find the Bermuda Triangle. And Shahan is down. And that is disconcerting on a human level and, of course, also on a Silicon Valley Strikers future games level as they look to be in good shape to make the trip to Morrisville. You hope they haven't just lost the services of their top run scorer. Our focus entirely on what was going on out in the field. We'll see if we can spot what happened here. That field with everybody in the circle on the offside was the issue. He goes, and it looks like the left knee buckles when he goes to turn and take a second run. And immediately, Raymond Reefer has to turn tail and get back inside his own crease. That is not a good sight. Good news is he is back to his feet. Take another look at it from here. We'll see it from this angle. Might give us a bit better of a sense of which knee is the offending one and how rough this was. It looks like it is the one that he plants to go to push off on. No hesitation. He is putting back on the headgear. Does seem to be favoring that left leg a little bit, but sitting on 76 from 48. I imagine his thought is, let's go. Almost lost in all of that hubbub, of course, that field setting that we've seen so frequently where everybody on the onside is back at the rope. The only fielder on the onside inside the circle is fine leg. As a result of that, everybody was converging. Quite possible that A.B. Reddy had the best opportunity at that one from where he was starting, but either way, it falls in no man's land. It's a single. Jayasuriya stays in the game. Here comes Reddy round the wicket to Reefer. Opens the face of the bat, lifts this one, and drives it hard all the way for a 6. Over the covers. That is elegant. San Diego Surf Riders right now saying, Raymond Reefer, why couldn't you have stayed in the Caribbean? 2 years we were spared you doing this to us. Reefer continuing to up that strike rate on the season. He has been something special. Again, playing it late, running it back to third. In fact, it's backward point. Shahan Fernando who comes all the way forward to claim that ball. A single from that. And again, just looking through my scorecard, precious few dots. In fact, from this end of the ground, since the drinks break, if you would believe it, there have been 21 balls bowled, 1 dot delivery. That one is in the air, might hang up. Nope, it's into the trees and definitely would have cleared the cones without a problem. Another big 6. The ball before that brought up the 150. And it's now 14 in the over. San Diego just do not have an answer for this bludgeoning right now. That one was even toe-ended. And still timed so well as to get out. What's the response? Worked by Jayasuriya, and perhaps that time the cry out was a little bit of pain in that leg that he seemed to damage on the first ball of this over. Maybe just the frustration again. So far, 1-6, 1-6, 1. If you believe in patterns, duck. Well, it won't be a 6 on the last ball unless we have a colossal misfielder overthrow. Single to finish. But 16 off of that over. And the only thing that goes wrong for Silicon Valley, besides a bit of concern for Shahan Jayasuriya, is they fail to continue increasing the number of runs per over. They just simply match what they put up in the 16th off Kumar, 16 off the 17th. Silicon Valley strikers, 158 for 3. Sticking with pace from the Usman Khan end, but we will see a different pacer. It's going to be Javed Zadran charging in to face off with the captain, Raymond Reefer. Off-pace Yorker, and Reefer kills it into the surface and takes a single. Zadran took the wicket of Amog Adapalli way back in the second over. He's given up 15 off the 2 that he's bowled to this point. Back to the original end as he had the first over from the Usman Khan end, and they moved him over to the Sahadeo Pavilion end for his second over of work. Again looking for the little flick from Jayasuriya, and he has found it to perfection. One bounce and over the Turing sign. Another 4 runs to Shahan's total as he inches closer. 87 now off 51. We talk a lot about the superstition of the 1-1-1 Nelson. Here's the one that makes Aussies blanch. 87, 13 away from 100 as we take a look at the replay. Again, going for the pinball sweep. straight back over the head of the wicketkeeper, and body language of Snell Patel unmistakable. 87 on Reefer's back, 87 on Jayasuriya's scorecard. Swings and misses. May well have gotten an edge, but even if he did not carry to Snell. A rare dot ball. Deep protection all out in front of Jayasuriya. General feeling seems to be if he gets off one of those shots back behind, you're not stopping it anyway. Zadran brings his length in a little shorter. This one rolling towards the hill. It will stay within the ropes. Just a pair of runs. Jayasuriya jogging his way back for that second. Would imagine likely that we will see Shehan give way to a sub-fielder for the second innings, unless they really feel the need to have him out there to bowl his off-spin. Even if they did, they've still got Pranay Suri and DP Singh Bajwa who could roll the arm over for that purpose. That one either missed out or Payne. Leaning over and manages the single. Jayasuriya moves into the 90s with 13 balls left in this innings. It'll be Reefer on strike for the last ball of the 18th. So we get a look here. That one released out of the back of the hand of Zadran, and he actually inside edged that onto his own pads. Some really interesting wrist position on that delivery from Javed. Reefer will split the fielders in the circle behind square on the offside, and that's going to be a 4 on that last delivery of the over. Reefer, for his part, moves to 31 off 14 and is again terrorizing the San Diego lineup, alternating between bludgeoning shots down the ground and these delicate dabs, playing the ball as late as possible and running it fine of one fielder, wide of another. Silicon Valley through 18 overs, 170 for 3. I said it when he came in. You think you've done something by getting rid of Dilpreet Singh Bajwa, and now you got to deal with Raymond Reefer. He's going at well over a 200 strike rate. So is Shehan during the time that Reefer's been out there. The partnership now up to 60 off 26. And we're going to see something brand new here, which is the captain rolling his arm over for the final over from the Sahadeo Pavilion end. Skanda Rohit Sharma is going to become the 8th player to bowl in this innings. A little bit of off spin, and it bends away from Shehan, but he's able to follow it and pick up the single. 9 away from a third career MILC century. Had a partnership of 96 off 71 already. This one moving rapidly. Better than 2 runs a ball for the duration. San Diego looking for answers. That one is flighted, and Reefer will manage to deposit that in front of long off. Another single. 10 balls left in the innings, 9 runs away for Jayasuriya. Lifts this one towards the very slight offside, almost directly over the head of Skanda Rohit Sharma. That is a big 6. And Shehan is in touching distance now, 97. We've had just one century here in the Western Division this season. And in search of the second, and it's going to be brought up in style on back-to-back sixes. Shehan Jayasuriya, take a bow. Third 100 in minor league cricket history. His first since those back-to-back ones that he got in Texas back in 2022. What a performance here. Those other two, by the way, were also unbeaten. We'll see if he can last the last 8 deliveries. That one shot right back over the head of Skanda. They'll take one. Coming back for the second. Reefer wants to give Shehan as much of the strike as possible. Moves to 105. Big hoik and a miss. The back foot stays down, and despite the attempt to whip off the bails, nothing doing there. A dot to finish the over, but of course damage already done. Shehan Jayasuriya. The big man has gotten it done here today as we take a look at the ball lifted into the Davis tree line. Jayasuriya, a tremendous innings, 105 off 59, still out there striking at almost 180, 10 fours and 5 sixes. Absolutely a phenomenal performance from him. In fact, with that, he has tied Chandrapal Hemraj of the New Jersey Somerset Cavaliers for the most hundreds in MILC history. Both of them have 3. They're the only ones that do. Javed Zadran to bowl the last. Reefer, a big hoik, trying to help a ball around the corner that goes down the leg side. That'll be a wide. In fact, this 105 right now, tied for the 16th highest score in league history. His old teammate now with Kings 11 Dallas, Unmukt Chand, owns the record at 132. That in a playoff game that sent Silicon Valley to Morrisville the first time. They've been back once since. And this inning's going a long way to potentially sending them there again. Partnership now up to 77 runs. That coming in not even 6 overs worth of balls. Off-pace Yorker, and what a shot from Reefer, but it is going to pick out the fielder at the boundary. And that ends the partnership right there. He'll have to depart with a nearly 2 runs a ball, 32 off 17. Before it completely goes away, we will take one last look at the partnership after the replay. A wide off-pace Yorker out of the hands of Javed Zadran, but Reefer not able to quite get it all the way to the rope. There is your partnership, just ended at 77 off 34 deliveries. Big contributions from both sides. It'll be Gary Graham to come out, and he'll be on strike. Silicon Valley with 4 balls to see if they can hit a few over the rope and reach the 200 mark for the second time this season. First ball to Graham. Another off-pace full delivery. And when hit on the ground, it'll be a single. And Jayasuriya will have potentially 3 balls to see how far he can move up on that highest score in MILC leaderboard. .16th right now at 105. A couple sixes could move him into the top 10. That might be one, drifting over and leaping, but unable to hold it inside the park. Is the man at mid-wicket. Jayasuriya makes it 111. This feels a little bit like Finn Allen Day at the Coliseum, just constantly hitting search terms on the minor league cricket website. .111 is now tied for the 11th highest score with Saideep Ganesh earlier this year. 2 balls left. Fires that one down the ground, and he will stay put. Gary Graham says, no, you go ahead and keep the strike for this last one. A 6 here would actually tie him with Katane Clark for the 6th highest in minor league history. And for that matter, would tie him with Nauman Anwar for the highest score of this 2025 campaign. Final ball of the innings. Unable to make contact. Did he get an edge to take the asterisk away from Shehan? No, he did not. And so Zadran will not claim a 3rd wicket on the day. He finishes with figures of 2 for 35. And Silicon Valley finish at 194 for 4. Let's see, did he have a gripe? Not easy to tell, no real deflection. Javed certainly thought he heard a noise. Shehan, I think, might have been begging for a wide to see if he would get to face one more ball. But either way, that brings the batting innings here to a close for Silicon Valley. And what an innings it was. Let's review the card here as they go just 6 runs shy of the 200 mark. And, of course, the star of the show, Shehan Jayasuriya, 111 off 62 balls, his 3rd MILC century, equaling Chandrapal Hemraj for that record in the history of the league. And, of course, moving his way very close to that 200 or 2,000 run club. Didn't think he was going to be anywhere near it at the end of play, but as it works out, he's going to fall just 46 runs short. And a real good chance he's going to get 3 games in Morrisville to try to add those. Solid contributions as well from Dilpreet Singh Bajwa, 33 off 32 in that 96-run partnership for the 3rd wicket off 71 deliveries. And then he and Raymond Reefer add 77 off 34 for the 4th wicket. Reefer finishing with 32 off 17. Over on the bowling side, not a ton to recommend. A lot of right arm pace, a lot of off spin. The 1 over of lefty spin really got hammered. Kunj Bhagat conceding those 11. Although, now that I think about it, there were plenty of other overs that got hammered worse. They tried just about everything. The only non-double-digit economies belonging to Javed Zadran with his 2 wickets. He takes the wickets, as it works out, of Amog Adapalli in over number 2 and of Raymond Reefer there towards the end. Sabrish Prasad, 1 for 23. He had the wicket of Dilpreet Singh to break the near-century partnership in the 14th over. Only other wicket taken by Supranj Kumar way back, 6 balls in, when he dismissed Yuvraj Singh for just 4 runs. That certainly looked like two overs in, like San Diego were going to make a game of this. They're going to have to do something very special with the bat to accomplish that on a deck that earlier today looked very, very challenging when we saw the East Bay Blazers and San Ramon Grizzlies contending their match on it. Both those teams struggled to stay at a run a ball. Silicon Valley Strikers nearly go at 10s, and Shehan Jayasuriya makes it his playground. 111 for him. The target coming up here in about 15 minutes' time will be 195 runs. If the San Diego Surf Riders cannot get there, Silicon Valley are on their way to Morrisville, North Carolina in the first week of October for the Super 8s. We'll be back with that chase on the other side of a 15-minute break. Welcome back to Davis, California, cricket lovers of America. We are in the final stages of the Western Division race here in 2025 minor league cricket. You can see already the East Bay Blazers punched their ticket to Morrisville earlier today with a win over the San Ramon Grizzlies. As for the Strikers, if they can hold on to this 194-run advantage they've got and bring home the victory, they will also be on their way. Had to do a quick little bit of math and ask myself, what exactly would Silicon Valley have to do in order to top East Bay in net run rate? How low of a score would they have to bowl San Diego out for in order to do that? And for those wondering, the answer is -47. In other words, it is not possible. East Bay have won the division for the third year running, no matter what happens in front of us here. But again, the key thing is if San Diego can put together a remarkable chase on this pitch that has held other teams that aren't Silicon Valley to run rates of 7 or under, then we may have something interesting for our Seattle-based fans. That's what has to happen for Silicon Valley to not end up in the playoffs, would be for San Diego to actually complete this chase successfully. That would send the Seattle Thunderbolts in. But right now, for sure, Silicon Valley, a foot and a half into the minor league cricket postseason in 2025. They're just looking now to finish the job. And it looks like it's going to be Yusuf Zazai again taking the ball to open the batting. It's going to be Shehan Fernando to face the first delivery in just a moment. And he is going to bat alongside Siddharth Menon at the other end. See, I didn't recognize Siddharth because he's not wearing that cool hat anymore. One Shehan has already put on a show today. What does the other Shehan have in store for us here? Fernando will face the first delivery from Yusuf Zazai. Bowling in from the Sahadeo Pavilion end, but not just yet. Here comes the first delivery, right arm over the wicket, batted into the surface. For those that are curious, Shehan Fernando barely got to bat in that match between Silicon Valley and San Diego. In that one, it was all about Vijayaram Nandula and Snell Patel. Snell was caught behind off the bowling of Raymond Reefer, just 3 balls shy of a century. Nandula 57 off 37. Fernando's not going to participate in this one either, as he is gone. Second delivery, Yusuf Zazai lighting up the bails and sending him flying. Fernando will not trouble the scorers today. And there could hardly be a bigger difference between the days of the two Shehans. Zazai continues to be destructive this weekend. He was 2 for 23 yesterday. Took out the always dangerous Aaron Johnson on just 4 runs. And then the lone high score for the San Ramon Grizzlies came from Harish Kakani, 41. And Zazai was responsible for getting him out as well, 2 for 23. He starts with a wicket on his second ball and has yet to concede a run. No number on the back. My guess is this is going to be one of the two that had the high score in the last meeting. We'll see, though, if it is indeed Vijayaram Nandula. First delivery to whoever that is. Stroked backwards of square, but picks out Yuvraj Samra out there in the deep. Seems like the scorekeeper is not sure who that is either just yet, so I don't feel bad. There goes. Nailed it. Of course, Rahim Mangal also will be without a number on his back. Zazai continues to bowl tight here in this first over. course, we saw early wickets as well in the first innings, and then none for quite some time. A dot on the first to Menon. Here comes the second. Foolish worked away to the offside. That'll be a single. Menon gets underway. Menon faced one delivery in yesterday's action and scored his first run in minor league cricket after a 0 not out off 2 against LA on debut last Sunday. Nandula runs that to the offside. No run there as it's picked up by the cover fielder, DP Singh Bajwa. And that will be a tight first over from Yusuf Zazai. 2 for 1. The wicket falling already of Shahan Fernando here in the early going for San Diego. Saw a good look there at the wicket, taking delivery from Yusuf Zazai on a solid length. A ball that may have been a little pace off and had Fernando throwing the shot early and chopping on. Raymond Reefer will bowl the first from the Usman Khan and tempting the edge of Siddharth Menon. Tight delivery on that fourth stump line. Lucky not to have taken a feathered edge. Is the new man at that end. Using the feet to make a little room, fires that off the hand of Gary Graham. Would have been one of his top catches for somebody who is routinely doing the spectacular out in the field. Tried to reach out for that one, did Menon. Toe-ended it straight back over the bowler's head, and a little bit of riffing and sledging between teammates of Reefer asking Graham, hey, you're going to miss a catch that easy? Come on, man. Why would you do that to me? 2 off the ball as it worked out, 1 off the one that follows. As Menon tries to get underway here, Siddharth Menon in the San Diego Cricket Association this year, 381 runs at a 143 strike rate. And that strike rate for him has climbed each of the last 4 years. If you look at his stats, it's gone from 51 to 81 to 122 to 143. Somebody absolutely on the rise in his early 20s. 350s for him to go along with a 104. It's Nandula on strike, though, for this delivery. That one going down leg as it gets a piece of the pad. And a dot ball. Silicon Valley Surf Riders this year, opening weekend, took just 1 of the 5. Conceded the 2 largest totals of the weekend, and this one just barely shy of one of those. Nandula using the feet to come forward, but pokes it straight at the man at mid-off. Another dot delivery. First big total resulted in a 57-run loss. The other one just 28. That was the one to these strikers. Then had 3 tight games, of which they won a single one, beating Seattle by 4 runs. That one's gotten pad. Reefer wants it. It's not going to come. Leg by instead off the final delivery of that over. Appeared to be going down leg, but Hits the outside of the boot there. I imagine impact probably okay, but may well have had a little bend going down. Either way, umpire uninterested. Sundaram Subramanian, 4 off the over, 3 off the bat, 6 for 1 through 2. Yusuf will continue from the Sahadeo Pavilion end. Short ball pops way up over head height and well dealt with. And on a couple of hops, that's going to be over the top of Cameron Hotak in the circle and all the way to the boundary for the first boundary shot of today's game. Nicely dealt with there by Vijaya Ramnandula, off his feet as he makes contact with that ball. We have seen some unorthodox stuff today. I'm not actually positive that makes the top 5. All the same, anytime you loft a ball to the boundary without actually having contact with the ground, I'm impressed. On point, that have comeback delivery from Zazai, but it is shot straight back past him. Decent run for Reefer to get to that. And the single taken. That was tasty out of the hand of Yusuf Zazai. Get a look here. Coming over the wicket. Going for that 4th stump line. My goodness gracious. Tempting Menon. A little bit of a mishit. That's up in the air. Hotak pursuing. Can't quite make the ground. Doesn't have enough juice to make it to the boundary. Menon was thinking about trying to take a third, but will head back. Pair of runs there. Cameron Hotak at full stretch trying to take that. As that ball got in tight on Siddharth Menon and ended up taking that front leading edge. Ball like that can go just about anywhere. Got enough of it to stay alive. One Afghan righty quick consulting with the other, Yusuf and Nawaz. Delivery after that is lofted over the top of Raymond Reefer. And that's going to be another 4 here. So Zazai, after a brilliant first over of work, a 6, my mistake. I lost sight of the ball in the air. Didn't see quite where it landed, but that is all 6 of them. Caught sight of Reefer just standing back and watching it go. I didn't quite catch which direction he was looking. Need to get better at looking for the umpire in that situation. Either way, after giving up just 2 and taking a wicket in his first over, Zazai has been targeted, particularly by Menon here in these last couple of balls. Goes very hard to the leg side. Menon thinks about trying to take the quick single. Heck, if Siddhartha just held his ground in front of his stumps, probably would have earned a leg side wide on that one. But instead, it is a dot ball to finish. 13 from it, a 4 and a 6 among them. San Diego, 19 for the loss of 1. Silicon Valley Strikers having to win 2 games this weekend to reach the playoffs in the absence of one of the men who is synonymous with this squad, Sarab Netravalkar. They have certainly seemed to have all the resources necessary. First delivery from Reefer in this 4th over. Guided nicely by Nandola to the offside. Pair of runs there. The matchup with the East Bay Blazers yesterday. Or excuse me, the San Ramon Grizzlies, I meant to say yesterday. A canter of a run chase for the Strikers. That won a match where their bowling unit held San Ramon in check and gave them an easy target to reach. Today, their batting unit, absolutely relentless. 250 partnerships, one that very nearly found its way to the century mark. And of course, Shehan Jayasuriya, 111 runs. Staking his team to the most defendable target that we've seen in the Western Division in quite a while. Nasty delivery from Reefer as that one climbs up on Nandola. Not able to find it. Maybe lucky for that. Had it picked up a piece of glove, he was gone. Fiddly fiddly. Throws the shot early, does Nandola, as it climbs up and gets a piece of his upper body. Might need a moment, may in fact need to get some attention from a physio. I couldn't tell if that was the signal of, hey, that got me in the head. It did indeed get him on the helmet. I'm kind of surprised no one's coming out to have a check on him because, generally speaking, we're pretty careful about those sorts of things. Nandola says, I'm okay. That one is guided wide of Pranay Suri. It's going to be a foot race to the rope, and Pranay is not going to win it. I guess he's fine. Very nicely struck, over pitched here from Reefer. Looking for the Yorker, but not quite able to get the length right. Well struck, nicely timed, and zips away on the carpet. Last ball of this 4th over coming from Raymond. That's lifted and well clear of the rope. That bangs into the fence behind our boundary on the full. One heck of an off drive off the bat of Vijaya Nandola. San Diego had 20 runs off the first 22 deliveries of this match, or of this innings. They've added 10 to that total on just the last 2, a 4 and a 6 from Nandola. They pick up 12 off the over. San Diego 31 for 1 through 4. So far, so good for San Diego if you're comparing their performance here to the innings authored by the Silicon Valley Strikers. At least in terms of storyline, they've got one more wicket still in hand, and they're right there in terms of runs scoring. The problem may well be, eventually, the acceleration. First delivery from the new bowler, Nawaz Khan Katawazai. A dot delivery from the former East Bay Blazer. Now plying his trade on the blue side of the bay. "28-year-old veteran of first-class and list A cricket in the Mid-innings region of Afghanistan. Took the wicket of Zia Shahzad yesterday. A little expensively, though. Menon looking to add to the expense here, but that's going to drop in front of the onrushing Yusuf Zazai. Screaming in from long off. That'll just be a single. Khan creating chances right from the off here. Continues to face almost exclusively right-handed batters this season. 70 of the 72 deliveries coming into the weekend. That one's up and definitely catchable. Drifting under it is the captain, Raymond Reefer. He will come down with it. And he better after all the sledging he gave to Gary Graham earlier. That is going to be all she wrote for Siddharth Menon. And Nawaz Khan has himself a wicket in his first over of work, just 3 balls in, dismissing, not Siddharth Menon, that was Vijayaram Nandula. My mistake. By the time I looked down, the other guy was at this end of the crease. But indeed, it is the man who had been doing all the boundary hitting that last over. It's Nandula who's got to go. Nicely done, and of course, make sure you don't roll your way onto the boundary. And another wicket down. So now San Diego at 32 for 2, halfway through this 5th over. And it'll be Snell Patel, the man who flirted with a century the last time he saw these men in two-tone blue. Nandula forced to go with 18 off the 14 he faced. 3 boundaries, 2 of them on the 2 balls right before his dismissal for him. Not a bad little partnership to restabilize things after the loss of Fernando 2 balls in. Off pace and down the leg side, a wide on the first ball faced by Snell Patel. Snell 97 off 58 and a whopping 16 fours. Just one maximum. How often do you see somebody get that close to a 100 in a T20 without hitting a 6? They're going to need a little something from him today in that vein if they're going to make this interesting. Dot delivery as Nawaz finds the aim. That total for Snell still staying top of the fours table in minor league cricket, although only just. Ramiz Raja has closed to within 1 after his innings today for the Chicago Kingsmen. Off pace again down the leg side. Snell Patel guides that round the corner. Long run for backward square. But Yuvraj Samra will get there. And that'll be a pair to get Snell underway. The Saurashtra veteran wears their seal on that dark blue helmet. Final ball of this Nawaz over. Almost the same spot, and an even better result there for Snell Patel. This time he guides it much finer. Splits the gap between that deep patrol and fine leg. And a 4 to finish off the over. Snell Patel looking to get underway and doing it his favorite way. Roll, 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 all the way to the rope. .39 for 2. Looking elsewhere in minor league cricket, only one other game in progress right now, and that's the one between Dallas Exploria Giants and Kings 11 Dallas. First delivery from Kamran Hotak, and he's got a wicket. Down goes Siddharth Menon. I got to stop doing these updates at the beginning of overs. Lesson learned. Hotak into the attack, and all that Kamran has done is take power play wickets as of late. Had 3 of them against East Bay. This one here just past that attempted shot, and we've seen a few like that from other bowlers where the shot has been offered, it's been just outside the edge, and it's just been a scare. But the difference with Kamran is it stays low enough and tight enough and kisses the top of off. Third wicket down here inside the power play. That'll bring out the captain, Skandar Rohit Sharma. Snell, the surviving batter at the other end, 6 off the 3 he's faced so far, a dot, a 2, and a 4. But Kamran Hotak just continues to do work. Got Rahul Jariwala, Ravindu Gunasekara, and Sahil Garg in yesterday's match. Took 3 for 9. Came in, I believe it was, for the second over from his end and bowled all 4 of the remaining overs out to the drinks break. Took all 3 of those wickets inside the power play. Nearly does it again. My goodness gracious. First delivery to the captain. And he's just got to tip his cap and shake his head and ask, what is this guy on right now? Worked away to the offside. No run there. Another dot delivery. At least that one didn't flirt with the woodwork, Skanda says. Another one, and you can just see the indecision right now, not knowing what kind of pace Kamran's going to bowl it with. Do I try to approach and get to the pitch of it? Do I sit back? Varying his length expertly right now. This time sits back and guides it backwards of point. But still nothing to do. Out comes Skanda, and he will finally avoid the wicket maiden as Yosef Zazai, in a small dive off to his right at mid-on, able to prevent the wicket maiden in his introduction to the attack. But what an introduction to the attack. Kamran Hotak just 1 from the over and takes a 3rd wicket. San Diego finished the power play at 40 for 3. Through the power play, a look at our bowling card. It is Snell and Skanda, team's high scorer and the captain, partnering up at this point. Vijay Ramnandula and Siddharth Menon both in the shed with double-digit scores so far. Shahan Fernando had to go early as Yosef Zazai bowled him clean on the second delivery of the day. 40 runs so far, 11's needed from here to the finish. Navas bowling in from the Sahadeo Pavilion end. Navas continuing with that line down the leg side. Worked away for a single. Paid for a couple of those as he made the deep fielder run quite a ways on a 2, the first or second ball he bowled to Snell. And then had the follow-up delivery after that, guided around the corner for a 4. Sticks with it to Skanda. Let's see if he keeps going that way with Patel. Off pace, full toss in that same vicinity. And that's going to get all the way there for 4, and I would contend that line is not working right now against this batter. Full toss right at about mid-shin height. Snell knows exactly what to do with that. Used to looking for those deliveries that he can punish in a lifetime of first-class cricket over at Saurashtra. Big piece of the squad that won the 2022 Ranji Trophy back there, the native of Rajkot. 102 in the final in a losing effort as well. 3 years before that, that ball is a little more like it. Goes for that fifth stump line, trying to tempt him to offer. Field setting right now has 2 men in the circle on the offside. 1 on the onside, Gary Graham at short mid-wicket. Another much better delivery tapped in. Wandering down the pitch was Skanda. No throw from Kamran, but you see Raymond Reefer perhaps in the background. Absolutely at a full sprint to be ready to back up the throw. And that was one of the things that was a complaint from the San Diego fielding team during the first innings, was just not backing up throws. There were at least 3, maybe 4 overthrows that were just the result of maybe an unusual field alignment and nobody being ready for the throw coming into the stumps. Maybe the decision to throw it ill-advised, maybe the decision not to back up ill-advised. Either way, problems. Snell Patel hits that one just to the side of Gary Graham. He's able to get a hand to it and keep it from getting any closer to the rope. A single off that after Nawaz has reacted very nicely to a couple of deliveries that were punished going down that leg side by Snell Patel. He's found the line now. Patel still trying to access the onside, but this time dragging it. Graham able to get down for the stop. Skanda bunts that one into the ground, and that will be an easy pickup and a dot delivery to finish. So a big comeback for Nawaz after the 4. 3 dots and a single. 7 overs gone. San Diego 46 for 3. The run rate required creeping up towards 11.5. Kamran and his 14 wickets on the season continues from the Usman Khan end, and I've learned my lesson. I'm not talking about anything but Kamran for the next 2 minutes. Maybe the batters if they do something, but certainly not scores away from this area because this guy just takes wickets right now. Came into the weekend taking them at 10 wickets, or 10 wickets at 17.3 per, and an economy just under a run a ball. And all he's done in 5 overs this weekend is take 4 wickets for 10 runs. Trying to break the shackles there is Snell Patel. Skanda Sharma on strike, now pokes that one backwards of square. They'll just take the one as the fielders converge. It's 3 consecutive singles. Skanda, of course, had the single off the last ball that denied Kamaran a wicket maiden. Worked off the pads. Another single on offer. Of course, at this point in the game, Silicon Valley all too happy to deal with just singles coming about. If you're bowling those tight lines and not giving the opportunity for the big release shot to up the run rate, mission accomplished. This one around along the ground, still too hard to allow thoughts of a second. Pranay Suri in from the boundary to take it. Sweep thrown maybe a little early, but does manage to get back to it. 50 up on the single to 4 for the San Diego Surf Riders here in the 8th over. Memory serves, that's roughly the over where Silicon Valley brought up their 50. Reefer was excited, but nothing given there. Thought we had us another Kamaran Hotak wicket. Let's see what all the fuss was about. Claim was a caught behind, I believe, or perhaps a stumping. Foot does appear to be grounded, so I think all is well there, and tough to tell if there was a gap between bat and ball, but either way, it goes. Skanda Rohit Sharma, the captain, survives. 4 off 10 so far for him. San Diego 51 for 3 through 8. And I was indeed correct. This is roughly the rate at which Silicon Valley was accumulating runs at this point in the game. The issue here for the men in the yellow to seafoam green gradient is what Silicon Valley did from this point forward. Through 8 overs, they were at 57 for 2, so just one more wicket down and 6 runs behind that pace. But this is about the point where they started stacking up double-digit overs as Chris Ramsaran comes in with his left-arm wrist spin from the Sahadeo Pavilion end. This one dragged and searching for the gap, but it will be picked up. Backwards square, able to converge with mid-wicket to get to that ball. Just a single from it. Ramsaran 1 for 24 yesterday. Took the wicket of Akash Sundaresan. Another single, almost to the same spot, little shorter of a run that time for Samra. Yeah, starting in the 9th over, the overs for Silicon Valley went 10, 12, 8, 13, 8, 3, 15, 16, 16, 12, 16, 8. That ball run off the edge, back towards third. Yosa Sazai up with it. Third single on the trot here against Ramsaran, and the required run rate already moving its way up towards 2 runs, actually over 2 runs a ball. That'll put a dent in that potentially if it isn't a catch, and it's got the legs to get over the top of Dilpreet Singh Bajwa at mid-wicket. Desperately needed maximum there. They're going to need a couple of boundaries. Maybe 3 every 2 overs for a little while here just to eat into this a bit. Nice looking shot there from Skanda, though. Has had his struggles keeping his accumulation rate high this year. That one has a ton of turn on it and very nearly took off the top of off. Goodness gracious. One heck of a delivery there. A lot going on. We'll take a look at this one out of the hand of the left-arm leggy. Comes way back. Just got a little bat on it. It might have been over the top of off stump, but a dangerous delivery and a certain message being sent about what Christopher Ramsaran is capable of. 10 off of his first, highlighted by that big 6. 61 for 3 through 9. Cameron Hotak continues. First delivery targeting the stumps. Back to Gary Graham. We'll see if Hotak again bowls his 4 overs all in one continuous spell. In search of the reverse sweep, not able to make good contact that time with Skanda. Skanda this year has just had his struggles keeping the run rate up and getting out of first gear. 105 runs coming into the weekend at a strike rate of 74. That one's in the air, and what a catch! Gary Graham missed a blinder by just fingertips earlier. This time around he's got it. And the man who sledged him playfully when he missed the first one, out to jump around and congratulate him for taking the specky. Trying to give himself room there with Skanda Rohit Sharma and up the rate and both feet off the ground. Gary Graham, to borrow a phrase from my good buddy Andrew Leonard, 43 years young. Just call him Air Jamaica right there. Yeah, let's see it one more time, Vishal. That's absolutely the right choice. That ball was moving. Credit to Stanley on the camera work as well to capture a beautiful catch from Gary Graham. And I believe with that we are going to take just a few balls early. The drinks break here on the MLC Network. We'll be right back in a few minutes after everyone catches their breath and has a sip of something tasty. Rahim Mangal in at 6 for San Diego Surf Riders. He'll face off with Cameron Hotak, who immediately is appealing again, but squashes it rapidly. Looked to be a little high and probably going down leg. That one is blocked by Cameron inside. Another dot delivery. And for the second over in his spell, he is a ball away from a wicket maiden here. Let's see if he can get it this time around. Taps straight back to him, and this time, indeed, he does. We reach the halfway point of the chase. San Diego pursuing 194. They so far don't even have a third of that yet. 61 for 4, 13 runs per over, and then some needed to get home. First delivery of over number 11 out of the hands of Christopher Ramsaran is going to just beat the fielders in the circle on the offside. Roll to Nawaz Khan. Out at sweeper cover. And a single to start. As we mentioned, no concerns here for trying to chase down East Bay Blazers' net run rate or anything along those lines, so don't worry about that. There will be a three-time repeat champion in this division, the men in yellow. The men in two-tone blue are 6 wickets or 58 deliveries away from booking their ticket officially to Morrisville, and it does seem to be all over. But the very last drops here. Pair of singles against Ramsaran to start. San Diego going at barely over a run a ball, looking a lot more like the kinds of innings we saw earlier today. Although that's a nice little sweep shot to mid-wicket. Nobody in that vicinity. Four for Snell Patel. He, of course, was the one who went big with the 97 in the first matchup between these teams to keep it interesting. We'll see what he's got in the tank today as that one kicks up a puff of dust from that backspun ball. The day so far today has seen a lot of scores in that 6 to 7 runs per over sort of zone. Oh boy, there is another one that spins back a mile. That's the trick there of a lefty leg spinner. Is against a right-hander, it's going to come into you. That wrist spin allows him to create that angle similar to what you get from an off-spinner. But you're not always expecting it. That one is going to fall a bounce in front of Dilpreet Singh Bajwa out at deep mid-wicket. It'll be a single. Key thing, of course, about a wrist spinner is the ability to try and vary that release and occasionally get the googly that acts like what you're expecting. That one is driven high in the air, and it's got plenty behind it. Shehan Jayasuri is going to watch that one fly away. Raheem Mangal has entered the chat and does so with a monster 6 on the final ball of the 11th over. Had that good sound. That will do it for the over. San Diego 74 for 4. Deep protection mostly in front of Snell Patel as Kamran Hotak bowls his last. This one is lashed into the gap and is going to beat Yuvraj Samra at a rather fine long off position. First real inroads that have been made against Kamran Hotak. 2 wickets, a wicket maiden. And all the runs until just then scored against him had been in the form of singles. 6 of them. Now 10 runs against him in his 3.1. Only protection behind is its backwards square leg. Long on is the subfielder Taro Nadada in for Yosef Zazai, perhaps conserving energy for a spell at the death. That one definitely got pad, but I'm pretty sure I heard 2 sounds from over here, and Sundaram Subramanian not interested. The hands stay down. Ever threatening. This guy is going to be a weapon at Church Street Park. Goes full on that one and unable to fully meet the pitch of it. Tapped straight to Reefer. Four dots on the heels of that 4. He was 3 for 9 yesterday. Can he make it 3 for 10 at the end of his spell here? Up, rolled along the ground. That is going to be a long run for Nawaz Khan to get there, but he will. And Snell Patel's all the way at the other end trying to find a second run, and it's a comical run out. The ball rolled over. Hotak was waiting for it to reach him to put on the stumps, and it found its way on directly. Oh, my goodness gracious, what a mix-up there. Snell had gotten all the way down to Rahim Mangal's end. And there's the little roll from Amog Adepalli. Waiting, 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 and bang. No controversy about that. And interesting note that Amog Adepalli is one of only 2 players in all of minor league cricket that has been involved in 3 runouts before this. I think he's now the only one involved in 4. And the thing I find funny about it is that the other player that had been involved in 3 runouts coming into this weekend was also an ex-East Bay Blazer, and that is Aditya Ganesh, playing over in Philadelphia now. So that's the 4th one that Adepalli's been involved in. This one he takes care of all by his lonesome. San Diego now on the last ball of the 12th over. 5 wickets down with 79 on the board. Snell Patel's got to go, 27 off 23. It's at least the second time I can remember this season that he's been run out. Happened to him on debut over the Labor Day weekend as well. So it'll be Abhinay Reddy Vanepalli in at 7. Abhinay not part of the setup yesterday. 89 runs so far this season at a 92 strike rate. The big issue for him has been not really rotating the strike. 59% of the balls he has seen this season have gone for dots. His non-boundary strike rate is only 36. But he's had a couple of big innings. His biggest struggle has been against off-spin, and that is what they're going to toss at him right out of the gate as Shahan Jayasuriya is into the attack from the Sahadeo Pavilion end. This season, Reddy 3 for 3 off 10 deliveries against offies. That one ends up down the leg side without a touch. And a wide ball. Tapped back behind and another dot delivery. So make it 3 runs and 3 dismissals off 12 so far this season against off-spin. Has had a few big innings, though. 39 off 30 against Seattle in their first win of the year. Looking to dial up some of that. More than doubles his run total. In fact, triples it against off-spinners in this 2025 season. Had 3 coming in, 6 right there. Whew! Rock back and deliver, AB. Shehan missing short. That one with a hit me sign on it. Love the backward cap style, though, from Shehan Jayasuriya when he bowls. Dancing along the wide line, Reddy runs that back. Opportunity maybe for a run out as Mangal comes over to that end, and the throw is a wild one. Gets through the backup. Mangal will stay put. The San Diego Surf Riders didn't realize that ball had gotten away to the extent it had, and do not take an extra run. Sort of the day in a nutshell right there. One of the first times I can recall seeing a mistake in the field from Silicon Valley, and San Diego don't profit from it. At least 3 or 4 runs off overthrows during the Silicon Valley innings. That one is scorched along the carpet, but Gary Graham will be able to chase it down. That ends the over. 9 from it, 6 of them off of a majestic 6 off the bat of Abhinay Reddy Vanapalli. He is underway with 7. San Diego Surf Riders, 88 for 5, 7 overs to go. And as we don't have advertisements, and Kamran Hotak's spell is over, having taken 3 wickets for 11 runs, and I don't have to worry about him taking 1 first ball anymore. Pranay Suri, meanwhile, by the way, into the attack, dueling off spin from both sides now as he enters at the Usman Khan end. But I'll take the moment to review a little bit of what's been going on today in minor league cricket as well. As we told you at the outset, Chicago Kingsmen with a win over the Chicago Tigers have clinched the number 1 spot in the Central. They are headed to Morrisville. As Pranay Suri gets ready to bowl this 14th over. Keeps it wide, tapped by Mangal along the ground. And a single to start. Also in the Central, Metroplex Tracers hold on for dear life to a 4-run victory over Lone Star Athletics. As a result of those 2 results, Lone Star and the Chicago Tigers are done for the season. They do have a game left, but they will not be able to qualify for postseason play, as that one dances over the bat, but wide of the tram line. Free run here for San Diego. Metroplex, for their part, have put themselves in position to qualify for the 2v3 game with a win tomorrow. That one gets through everybody. We'll see if it touched bat or leg or anything. The answer is no. So a single, a wide, and a bye so far. The other game that has teams knowing they could get in with a win, taking place right now as this one is fired and way over the top of our sight screen, and again ringing off the fence on the full. Big 6 off the bat of Rahim Mangal. 30-year-old from Paktia, Afghanistan. It's about as well as we've seen him sting one so far this season. 21 not out off 20 against San Ramon on debut. 14 off 14 versus LA on either side of a duck coming into the weekend. Reaches out and slaps that towards the covers. I am intrigued by the fact that the bye was not noticed. There we go. Looks like they're going to go ahead and fix that up in a moment. No, never mind. Just the dot delivery. Then the 1. And then a swing and a miss. Did it get a touch? No, it did not. It's also a wide. The over that will never end. Kings 11 Dallas and Dallas Exforia Giants right now engaged in a game that will yield one of the teams in the 2v3 game for sure, as that's poked to the offside. Dot delivery to finish that over. And so 11 off Pranay Suri's first, 2 of them wides, 6 of them off that big hit down the ground from Rahim Mangal. San Diego Surfriders 99 for 5 through 14. We'll keep the chat right here. Continue to recap the day in minor league. As we were saying, the first innings of Xphoria versus Kings 11 at an end, 193 for 3. The Xphoria Giants are going to have a big total to defend against Kings 11. As we said, the winner of that game moves on to the 2 versus 3 game. Loser is going to have to wait and see what Metroplex does, and if that loser is Kings 11, that might actually be it, unless the Tracers get spanked and lose out on their net run rate advantage. If I'm recalling correctly, they come in with a substantially better net run rate than Kings 11 does. So it might almost be a done deal so long as they don't get crushed. That is absolutely the case. Kings 11 sitting at almost level on their net run rate. Metroplex at plus 0.77. So the Tracers may have their place just about booked as long as they don't fall apart tomorrow morning. If Dallas Xphoria Giants are able to protect that advantage. Raymond Reefer steaming in from the Sahadeo Pavilion end. That one pops up. It's going to fall just shy of the fielder in the circle. That's Gary Graham again. He and Raymond Reefer are going to have a chat after this, I think. That's 2 that have been very close to Gary's orbit. One that he got a hand to. And I come out at some point and say, Gary, how come when I'm the one bowling, as that brings up the 100 for San Diego here on the first ball of the 15th, how come when I'm bowling, you don't put in the dive, or you do and it bounces off your hand, but when it's Hotak bowling, you hide you absolutely nail it. Make the highlight reel catch instead. Good-natured banter. Caribbean rivalry there between Barbados and Jamaica. It's the game within a game. It's the reason you love to actually be here at the ground and get to hear some of this stuff. Singles off the first 2. Mongol back on strike against Raymond. Little off pace. Throws the shot early and then has to duck out of the way as the off-pace bouncer comes up to head height. It's a delivery with a little bit of hair on it. Yikes. Believe they call it chin music. But again, that's the situation in the Central. Kingsman into the Super 8s. Winner of Xphoria, Kings 11 definitely into the 2v3 game. And if it is Xphoria, probably Metroplex going no matter what happens tomorrow. On the other hand, if Kings 11 managed to chase down a target of 194, Tracers would have to win to dethrone Dallas Xphoria Giants. They are a point behind them in the standings. One of those no results. So many of those over Labor Day weekend, and I don't think any since. Could end up being decisive. Reddy runs that one to the offside. 4 singles on 5 balls so far here against the captain. Down in the South, Fort Lauderdale Lions get into the win column for the first time this year, defeating Orlando Galaxy by 10 runs. No effect on the playoff race. But still nice. You don't want to see anybody go home empty-handed. Meanwhile, Baltimore Royals taking their first loss today. Cut and a miss. And Reefer dots up to finish off the over, just 4 from it. San Diego 103 for 5 through 15. 92 required from the last 5, otherwise known as a Tawatia. So that one dances just clear of the outside edge of Raheem Mongol. Pranay Suri is going to stay on at the Usman Khan end. Pranay this season, just 3 wickets taken. Hasn't bowled a ton, though. He's generally had better luck keeping it tight against left-handed batters than righties. conceded a few from that first over of work for him from this Usman Khan end as we enter the quote-unquote death overs. Nothing particularly deathly about them here, though. Not a tense affair unless the two men here at the crease can find a way to accelerate in a hurry. That one gets pad going down leg, though. Leg by. In the South, the games of note, we mentioned the Royals losing their first game of the season, bowled out for 131 and have it chased down on the third to final delivery. Atlanta Fire staying undefeated as that one is roped for a 4. Nicely struck. Rahim Mangal certainly getting his licks in right now. Looking for that acceleration potentially. We'll get a look at this one. Looked like a knuckleball perhaps out of the hand of Pranay Suri. He's been keeping the ball very, very wide. Mangal following that first with his feet and then with his bat. Able to lash that through a gap on the offside. Looking for the same gap, but a little harder to get to it. Suri, after a bunch of wide deliveries, bowls that one almost at Mangal's feet. Able to adjust to it. Digs out the single. Now it's Vanapali on strike. AB rolls this over towards mid-wicket. Another single on offer. And that victory for the Atlanta Fire keeps them undefeated at 7-0, and it also means that tomorrow's game between those two sides, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, will be a winner gets into the playoffs game. No consequences yet for the losing team. So that one's rolled to Pranay Suri. Dot delivery. There is a scenario, though, where if the Atlanta Fire come out on top of that game and the Lightning lose, you could have both the Fire and the Baltimore Royals qualify at once, which, for the folks who are booking plane flights and so forth, for these teams, probably the best option to not have to wait until next Saturday to find out who the other team is in from the South. But all of that to be decided tomorrow. 4 overs to go here. Nelson for 5. San Diego 84 runs away from the target. Yusuf Azai back into the attack. Sounds like he will probably bowl the last 2 from the Sahadeo Pavilion end. Rahim Mangal off to a decent start here. And the partnership has gotten up to 32 runs in the 4 overs they've been working together since the somewhat comical run out of Snell Patel. Zazai, 1 wicket already. He took it on his second ball. Digs that one into the surface. Swatted into the ground near mid-wicket. Thoughts briefly of trying to take a second, but Dilpreet Singh Bajwa to it quickly enough, and they'll head back. Haven't talked much today about the Eastern Division, seeing as how it is all sewn up. But the New York Titans sweep a doubleheader today with the New England Eagles. Lands them at 5-5 for the season. Certainly gives them thoughts of what could have been if they'd had a better performance against the New Jersey teams. That one down the leg side. That'll be a wide delivery here. Titans bowled out the Eagles twice today for 93 and for 75. Chased down the target of 94 with an over to spare and 4 wickets down. A little more decisive when they bowled him out for 75. Got there just 2 balls past the halfway point to win by 8 wickets. Meanwhile, New Jersey Somerset Cavaliers won their first of 2 against the Manhattan Yorkers, bowled them out for 116, chased it down in 15 overs without losing a wicket. Runs evenly distributed between Kanar, Kevon Lewis, and Chandrapal Hemraj in that one. Single here on the next delivery from Zazai. And the New Jersey Stallions go to 9-0 on the regular season as they put up 163 for 4 against the Philadelphians and defend that to the tune of a 23-run victory, taking 7 wickets along the way. They'll play the Eagles tomorrow, a chance to go 10-0, and to my knowledge, become the first undefeated regular season team in the history of the league. Calling for an LBW is Yusuf Zazai, to no avail. Let's see what we think of this one. This is the side from which we've got the better angle. Height probably the issue more than anything. Might have also been going down leg. I get why he wanted it. I get why the umpire didn't give it. Looking for the Shahan Jayasuriya special right there is Rahim Mangal. And there is that reverse scoop. The pinball paddle that we saw to great avail from Jayasuriya en route to his 111 runs earlier today. Mangal having to rise with that one to get it to come off. .29 off 22 here for Rahim Mangal. Partnership now up to 39 runs. A tasty little bit of hitting as they go searching for the ball in that bush. While they've gone searching for that, I'm taking the moment to see if I am mistaken about the undefeated team thing that I posited moments ago. I do remember the Silicon Valley Strikers going 13-1. But it would be a chance, I believe, for them to become the first perfect team. Chicago Kingsmen last year did not lose a game, but they went 7-0 and 1-0 result in a shortened season. So New Jersey tomorrow, assuming the game takes place, a chance to become the first ever perfect team and take full points from their entire schedule in the history of the league. And then next weekend, Atlanta might get a shot at that too. This one lifted, might be a chance for Dilpreet Singh Bajwa just in front of the rope, and he'll take the catch. Yusuf Zazai has his second, and it is the man who was starting to find a little vein of form here, Rahim Mangal. And just after that tasty little paddle scoop, the partnership comes to an end. Long loopy swing on that one as he tried to get to the pitch of the ball. Very slightly top-edged. And that's the reason he's got to go. So, nope, I was going to take a look at the partnership, but they've switched it already too quickly. Sabarish Prasad coming out, and I'll have to do the math in my head instead. 39 runs from that partnership. That coming in 29 deliveries. Not a bad contribution there. We'll take one more look here at the stat line for the man who departs. Rahim Mangal, 29 off his 23 before being retired there, caught by DP off the bowling of Yusuf Zazai. Sabarish Prasad in at 8. Manages to get to that one here as the Yorker delivery is steamed in from Zazai. That'll be a single. And Sabarish will stay on strike when we come back for over number 18. San Diego Surf Riders going at exactly 7s, 119 for 6, 18 balls to go. It's all over but the shouting, but heaven knows if we've listened to the way that these strikers, players good-heartedly sledge one another, there might still be shouting anyway afterwards. But it'll be supportive. It'll be jokey. Change of ends here for Nawaz Khan as he will bowl the penultimate over from the Usman Khan end after bowling a pair from the Sahadeo Pavilion end before. Takes the pace off. And a single off the first from Sabrish Prasad, who had one of the more delightful innings, if you're not a fan of the LA Lashings, that we've seen here in this tournament. Came in at 10 in a game where his team needed 2 off 1 to win after a back-and-forth run chase. That is lifted just over the top of Raymond Reefer and way too speedy for any of the boundary riders to converge to it, and a 4 off the bat here of Abhinay Reddy Vanapalli. Back of a length and well read, and AB dispatches it. Briefest of moments, thought that Raymond might be in with a chance. He certainly loaded up to take the leap, but very soon thought better of it. Full toss worked away to backward square, and that'll be a single, and that'll bring Sabrish back on strike. I was telling you there, Prasad with his team needing 2 off 1, in at 10, having never hit a maximum in his career. Didn't need one there, but that's what he did. Straight back over the head of Akmal Hajizada. And got San Diego their second win of the season. Their first one came on this field against Seattle. They'll take aim at a third tomorrow in our regular season finale here in the West. That a 10:30 a.m. start here at Arroyo Park. As we said, it's not going to be a heart-pounding one with massive consequences, but that doesn't mean it can't be a whole heck of a lot of fun. San Diego looking for a third win. San Ramon Grizzlies looking to get to 500 the season after they went 2-6 and bottomed out. That one's airborne. Backpedaling is Reefer. Off to his left. He will make the catch. And Navas has a second. Got Vijaya Ramnandula earlier in the piece, also caught by Raymond Reefer. And now he takes care of A.B. Reddy, the last recognized batter on the team. Nicely managed there by Reefer. Almost looked like a football player fielding a kickoff. A nice prize there for Nawaz Khan, who has done some hard yards over the course of this game, and generally speaking, has been keeping San Diego in check, going at roughly 7 and over. You need those middle overs, those guys who are just going to eat up some time, not allow the run rate to get away from you. And Nawaz pretty reliably has been one of those. Back with East Bay, used to bowl a little bit in the power play, maybe occasionally at the death. My favorite memory of him still at this field was the crazy batting innings he put on, 27 off 12 to take a game away from the San Ramon Grizzlies, then the Golden State Grizzlies. That's going to be a full toss down leg stump. Wide here. Nawaz certainly somebody I'm always happy to see when we get out here. It's a great thing about minor league. Got a lot of guys that are local to this area, folks that coach in the area that have made connections. It's a special thing if your goal is building cricket in America to have that local connection here. The superstar is certainly fun. Get the ooh-ah factor, but that's how you start making memories. Now struggling a little bit with the radar these last two balls, not able to bring this 18th over to a close just yet. That one will be slapped wide of Reefer. Bajwa out there, though. He'll scoop it up, and a single off the last ball of that over. 10 off of it, including the 4. But Abhinay Reddy dismissed, 7 wickets down here. San Diego 129 for 7. Silicon Valley 12 balls from a ticket to Morrisville. Shadows are getting long here at Arroyo Park in Davis, California. Yusuf Zazai is going to take care of business on the final over from the Sahadeo Pavilion end. 2 for 23, the wickets of Shehan Fernando and Rahim Mangal in his pocket already. First delivery ends up being a single. Rolled to the offside. Nope, my mistake, a dot delivery. I thought I saw the batters running for their crease. They were running for their original crease. We are officially at the point where it would take 11 consecutive sixes for San Diego to chase this one down. One more legal delivery that doesn't fly over the boundary rope. And it's basically that. Might not be this one, or it might be, as that is going to pick out the man at long on. Tarunadada, the sub-fielder, earlier in the game was on for Zazai. This time around, he takes the catch in support of Zazai, and he's got his third. Of course, given the scenario, got to try to go big. Either that or go home. Or at the very least in this case, go to the hotel and come back here tomorrow morning. Third wicket on the day for Yusuf Zazai, 129 for 8. Kunj Bhagat comes out to bat. As it was Supranch Kumar trying to go big on that second delivery. Bhagat bats that into the surface. Zazai turning and firing, looking for the run out. That's going to get away and have to be tracked down in the deep. Bhagat heads back, though. One off 3 for Supranch, who came in at the fall of the prior wicket. This one to Prasad, worked around the corner for a single. Prasad, somebody who certainly San Diego will look at as potentially useful in that all-rounder sort of role. Has gone about at a run a ball thus far this season. 23 off 23 coming into the weekend. Didn't bat yesterday. Now 27 off 27 with 4 dismissals. Has not looked uncomfortable out there as that ball from Zazai is a wide. We are officially at the point of the afternoon's proceedings where that run rate required starts to look positively lunatic. Boggett will ladle that one in front of mid-wicket. Just a single on offer, though. One left here in Zazai's spell. Can he make it a 4-wicket haul? Zazai on the season has been an impressive find for this team, and he's actually driven up his wicket total now to 19. Correction, make it 20. That happened a little bit under the radar. Indeed, that was wicket number 20. He could actually get level with Shadley van Schalkwyk if this one is caught, but it will not be. Thinking about coming back for a second, but thinking better of it is Sabrif Prasad. He'll be the man on strike for the final over, but Yusuf Zazai finishes with figures of 3 for 28. And he's got 20 wickets here in his inaugural, or his debut season, I should say, of minor league cricket. And it does look as though he will be on his way to Morrisville along with his brothers in two-tone blue to try to see what else he can rack up down the stretch. 1 over to go, San Diego, 134 for 8, 61 runs away from the target. Six balls away from it being official, and it's going to be Dilpreet Singh Bajwa who will bowl the final ball from the Usman Khan end. 5 of the 7 direct qualifiers to the Super 8s about to be decided. The New Jersey Somerset Cavaliers, the New Jersey Stallions, the Chicago Kingsmen, the East Bay Blazers, and the first change from last year, the Silicon Valley Strikers. We'll have it in just a moment. First delivery from the offie is dug out and shot behind. Christopher Ramsaran will keep it from being a boundary. Just a single, actually a bye as it works out. No bat on that. And a nice little uncle stop over there from Christopher Ramsaran. Back live as the ball is poked to the offside for a dot. The other change we're going to have is the Morrisville Raptors did not or will not qualify. Baltimore Royals look like they most likely will make a return. So assuming they do, it's just a question of whether the Atlanta Fire or the Atlanta Lightning replace them. Strikers replace the Seattle Thunderbolts. DP Singh has a chance at a wicket, and it's into the hands of the man that's been taking him all day, Kamran Hotak. Wicket number 9 down, and it's Kunj Bhagat who's got to go. And perhaps Silicon Valley can end this with a little bit more flourish than just simply bowling out the compliment. Bhagat lifting that one to the man at long on, and Kamran brings it in. Oh, correction. Showing up as a dot delivery on the scorecard right now. I'm not quite sure why. It is definitely all she wrote for him. And so it'll be Javed Zadran on his way out. First delivery, swing and a miss into the gloves of Adapalli. Takes a big hoik at that one, but it's going to go back behind. No run on offer. Zadran works his way back. I'm really not quite sure about why that's all showing as a dot, but that in fact is the final delivery of the match. 2 dots after the wicket falls on the 4th ball of the over. And so it is with the slightest of a whimper there, but a 59-run victory as San Diego Surfriders finish out 135 for 9 today. And the Silicon Valley Strikers officially now punch their ticket for Morrisville, North Carolina, the scene where they won the inaugural minor league championship in 2021, the place where they fell to the Thunderbolts, who they have just now eliminated from contention in 2022 en route to the Thunderbolts winning the title. And a place that I'm very excited to be going to after doing one more game here in Davis tomorrow morning. Let's take a look at the batting and bowling cards here for this final match of our Saturday here in the West. A couple decent contributions there. Snell Patel, 27 off 23, and Rahim Mangal, 29 off 23. Patel dismissed a little bit comically, a standard mix-up between the wickets, as Mangal did not join him in trying to pursue a second run, and he was beaten trying to get back to his crease by Amog Adepali, a little underhand flick onto the stumps. At least the second time he has been run out this season. Rahim Mangal, a couple of stylish shots en route to a 29 off 23. Otherwise, nobody else managed to get out of the teens, and nobody went at a particularly quick scoring rate either, which was, of course, what was going to be needed here after Silicon Valley hung that 194 on the board. The only team today that went at much better than 7 runs a ball. The bowling unit that kept things tight and made this pitch look like it had for most of the day. 3 wickets for Yusuf Zazai, 2 for Kamran Hotak, who continues to be an absolute weapon in the power play. 2 for 11, the economy absolutely ludicrous. Yusuf Zazai, 3 for 28 from his 4. With those 3, he moves to 20 on the season and will finish just behind Shadley van Skalkvik. Earlier today, of course, Abhishek Paradkar in our early game took over first position on that table with 22. There are a few pretenders to the throne who will get a chance to bowl tomorrow. And even Sunny Patel, who's sitting on 17 wickets but has 2 more games next week against the Atlanta Fire. There will be some opportunities for somebody to try to dethrone Abhishek Paradkar, but they will have to come get him. You come at the king, you best not miss. 1 wicket for Dilpreet Singh there in the late going, and an economy of 0 as he bowls that final over, a wicket maiden. Kamran Hotak with 1 of those as well. So I was going to bring up the summary, and I've changed my mind. We're going to flip that out of there for a second because this is the last thing to see now that everything is in place. And there is your almost final table for the season. East Bay Blazers and Silicon Valley Strikers finish in those top 2 slots. Blazers take a 3rd successive Western Division championship, and they do it for the 2nd season running on net run rate. They were tied at 6-2 with Seattle last season. This year, 7-3. Both teams finish. Thunderbolts at 6-4 are going to have to watch from the Pacific Northwest as these teams go to the Church Street Park pitch once again. San Ramon Grizzlies will have a chance to try to get to 500 when they come out tomorrow to this field at 10:30 and take on the San Diego Surfriders. Heck of a day here. 2 teams clinching their berths. And certainly a little bit of history. We saw Sujith Gowda join the 2,000 run club. We saw Harish Kakani get his 50th. We saw Paradkar take command of the wicket takers table. And we saw Shahan Jayasurya put up his league record 3rd career century. That 111 not out off 62. Absolutely sterling. Supported by the 3 wickets from Zazai and some phenomenally economic bowling from Kamran Hotak. That's what gets it done today here in our late game. Silicon Valley Strikers win by 59. And again, we'll see you tomorrow at 10:30 for the final game of Western Division action. San Ramon Grizzlies, San Diego Surfriders, right here at Arroyo Park in Davis. Until then, for Vishal Tiku at the controls and Stanley giving you the pretty pictures, my name's Joe Hickey. Thrilled you've decided to spend your Saturday with us here on the MLC Network. We'll see you next time.